Rise with India podcast on ET Now.
Good morning and thanks for listening in. This is the Daily Morning Update from ET Now and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 29th of July. In the top news, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said yesterday that officials at the Fed are moving closer to a point when they can start reducing the massive support for the US economy, but there's still some way to go. The Federal Open Market Committee kept interest rates in a range near zero and maintained asset purchases at $120 billion per month until substantial further progress is made on employment and inflation. Powell said that officials had taken a first deep dive during their two-day meeting on how to go about scaling back bond purchases when the time came, but no decision on taper timing has been made. In updates on the Indian economy, Chief Economic Advisor K.V. Subramanian on Wednesday said that India is expected to hit a growth rate of 6.5 to 7% in the financial year to March 2023 and accelerate further to 8% in the subsequent years on the back of reforms undertaken by the government. He also said that the government is expected to meet its fiscal deficit target of 6.8% in the current fiscal despite pressure on revenue collections. In an important update in the banking space, the government's deposit insurance agency would repay depositors within 90 days of a distressed lender going under moratorium, according to Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. The Cabinet has approved the Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation Amendment Bill of 2021, and the Act currently insures up to 5 lakh rupees worth of customers' deposits, but now the corporation will no longer wait for banks to be liquidated before depositors' claims are addressed, which was the earlier practice. The amended bill will have to be passed by both houses of Parliament to become a law. In the aviation space, Aditya Ghosh, IndiGo's former president and one of India's most successful airline chiefs, will join hands with ace investor Rakesh Jhunjhunwala and Jet Airways' former chief executive officer Vinay Dubey as a co-founder of Akasa, which is the proposed new airline venture. Speaking of startups, online auto marketplace Droom Technology closed part of its $200 million fundraise at a valuation of $1.2 billion, making it India's newest unicorn. Droom says that it aims to list either on Nasdaq or in India in 2022. And in more international news, China's securities regulator convened a virtual meeting with executives of major investment banks on Wednesday night, attempting to ease market fears about Beijing's crackdown on the private education industry. It was a hastily arranged call which included attendees from several major international banks and was led by China Securities Regulatory Commission Vice Chairman Fang Xinghai. Some bankers left with the message that the education policies were targeted and not intended to hurt companies in other industries. It's the latest sign that Chinese authorities have become uncomfortable with the sell-off that has sent the nation's key stock indices to the brink of a bear market. And with that, it's over to Rohit Singh for the trade setup for the day in India. Morning, Rohit. How are we looking today?
Good morning, Alex. First up, cues from the Fed. Jerome Powell believes the US Fed is closer to rolling back the asset purchase program that has helped the US economic recovery. Markets ended lower but steady as the statement suggested Fed was moving towards winding up its bond buying, though it continues for now. Back home, we have staged a smart recovery to end above 15,700 after a steep sell-off as we enter the monthly expiry. A massive 175-point recovery from lows still couldn't wipe out the losses. In the end, we saw an intensely volatile session. Just two stocks, Airtel and ICICI Bank, tried to offset a truckload of selling in Reliance, Kotak and HDFC Bank. The metals pack put up a fine show, rallying for the fifth day. Foreign investors sold shares worth about 2,300 crore rupees, while domestic investors were net buyers of shares worth about 920 crore rupees. Let's talk about the active stocks this morning. Maruti missed street estimates because of lower volumes and higher commodity costs. Nestle reported a 10% year-on-year increase in net profit, but it was marginally below estimates. The company reported double-digit growth from Maggi, KitKat and Munch. Tech Mahindra will report numbers today for the June quarter, which is seasonally a weak one. One estimate pegs the new deal pipeline to be robust. Jeffries has initiated coverage on Zomato with a target price of 170 rupees. The Economic Times is reporting that the Aditya Birla Group may not buy more shares of Vodafone Idea from UK's Vodafone Group, and the immediate priority is to keep the company alive via fundraise. Tatva Chemical will debut today even as the grey market hints at a fat premium. The issue was oversubscribed 180 times. To recap, we are wrapping up the series largely where we started, but the small cap party has continued in July. The real star of the month has been the Realty Pack. Now let's see how August unfolds. That's all from my end. Thank you for listening in. Back to you, Alex.
That's all we have for you on this podcast, but as always, there's lots more that you can catch up with over the course of the day. You'll find all of that on ET Now. Thanks so much for listening. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day.
The Rise with India podcast on ET Now.